2023 to order. I would ask that everyone bow their heads for a moment of silence, please. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising notice in the Star Ledger in the express times of Warren County Zone and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Yes. Councilman Belcaro.
Here.
Councilman McQuaid.
Here.
Councilman Polito.
Here.
Council President Wright.
Here.
Mayor Mangucci.
Here. Folks, public comment, agenda items only. John?
There are many things on this agenda that need to be spoken about, but I'm going to speak about in particular. Okay. Okay. That's it.
John, go ahead.
Will I get a chance to speak in the public comment after the meeting also?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm happy to see this first reading of amendment and rent control ordinance to add mold as a health and safety welfare condition and to require landlords to provide hard copies of leases and tenants. There are other issues too, but I'll keep them because they're not on the agenda. I will keep them until after. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? Yes, sir.
Hold on a minute, Mr. Bruce.
Sure, thank you.
Go ahead.
Bob Bruce, 11 Harwich Road. I don't have a comment. I just have a question regarding new business, the resolution number 1. Grant application to execute a grant contract with NJ DOT for the, quote, industrial connector road from Route US 22 to, quote, Strikers Road project. And I'd like to ask the board to be as forthcoming in explaining what that is. I believe that this had been raised. I believe Mr. Wright and Mr. Mangucci had brought up on the night of when you had talked about Bellevue Road and doing some enforcement actions against some tractor trailers at Bellevue Road. I believe also on that night you had addressed the concept and you had a meeting, I believe, with county commissioners, possibly with now State Senator Steinhardt. It seems that this is about the road, about what I believe you're calling an industrial connector road that's going to connect Strikers to US 22. And I'd like you, as I say, I don't have a comment, I just have a question, and I'd like you to devote as much time as you possibly can to explaining to the public what exactly, because I believe you actually have plans. I have a copy of what the blanket resolution that would be sent to NJ DOT, but obviously, it says, per the attached, the devil's in the details, gentlemen, and so please, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Questions? Agenda items only. Donna?
Hang on a minute. Yep.
Donna Schneider, 26 Meadowview. Can you please explain vacation of Paper Street, item 5, and then executive session, and why it was an executive session, and where is it, and what is it about?
Well, first of all, it's an executive because it was attorney-client privilege to discuss what the process is for doing that, so.
Do you not have a process now, or is this something new?
No. There's a legal process that you have to do in order to vacate a street.
Right.
So apparently, it's that big white lot up there. Paul, that's the bowling alley?
There's an unimproved street that tees into Meadowview Drive. It's called Winter Hill Lane. It appears on the tax maps. So that was what was discussed, whether or not that particular unimproved right-of-way that's been dedicated to the township should be vacated.
Is that, where on Meadowview is that?
I can point to it right now.
I think is it between 32 and 30?
30 and
Yeah,
30
it's
and
between
32.
30 and
32.
32, okay.
Pointing to it right now, and it's in it abuts or tees into the southerly portion of this lot, this bowling alley shaped lot
Right,
that has frontage on Belvedere Road.
right. And why are we vacating it? What is the
Well, no,
reason?
there's been no decision to vacate, because obviously we can't take action in executive session. So the discussion was, what is it? How do you vacate it? And then the discussion was, I don't want to get into it, but a lot of times you'll have a paper street, and the people that own the lots on either side still own to the center of that paper street. So the paper street is just to reserve it, so if somebody were to come in 20 years from now and want to develop that piece in the middle, I'm imagining, because there's 3 other roads or paper streets that service that, would be so that there would be adequate circulation, I guess, if that was eventually developed. So that was part of it said, listen, the general rule is that when you have a paper street, the people on either side own to the middle of it. So if you vacated the paper street, they would now have basically their property back. So, but that's the general rule. So I don't know on this particular piece of property. So, we're going to have to take a look at some of that stuff.
Okay, and how did this come about?
I think just a resident requested it be considered.
A resident, so not the residents that live on either side?
I don't know. I don't think it matters.
Well,
It's
yeah,
a
it
request
kind
for-
of does matter, because if it's not the residents that are wanting the property, then who wants the property, and what's the next thing that's going to happen now that there's going to be a road that you can have access into that?
No. There's a road there now.
There's a road there
There's a road there now.
If you
So if you
move in,
vacate it, they can't go in there.
If you vacate it, you cannot go in. Where,
Right. So,
there's not a finished road on Meadowview.
no, there isn't. But what happens is, in the past, when people would build the developments that are there, Meadowview, knowing that land was there, a lot of times the boards would say, okay, well, you're going to reserve this paper street here, this paper street there, so that if that ever gets developed, they're not all coming out the main road. So it's actually better for I don't know if you live in that development,
do.
but it's better because then that's one less access if somebody was to develop that down the road. If it's vacated, the road's gone, and you no longer have potential access to that property.
Okay, so that means that it could potentially go back to the 2 homeowners that live on either side of that. It wouldn't go to anyone else.
No.
That's
And no
correct.
one else would have access to that.
That's
And
correct.
no one could ever have access to that.
That is correct.
Okay.
They would also be taxed on the additional.
Yeah,
The
like-
the homeowners on either
Yeah,
side would now
so
be
it's not like
taxed.
you're just going to give them.
Yeah, you're not, it's not a
25 feet around.
gift.
Correct.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Agenda items only? Yes, ma'am.
Hold on a minute.
Okay. Teresa Chapman Harmony, I'll wait until. Okay. Can you let us know the justification of the attorney-client privilege for item number 4 with the Lopatcong master plan?
I don't even think we talked about the master plan. I think that was just on there in case somebody had an update, but I don't think anything was even discussed about it.
Just a meeting up for the 17th.
So a lot of times if somebody wants to go into executive session, they say they think it's attorney-client privilege until I hear what we're going to be discussing. And then I say, no, that's not proper for this, we'll go out, but it wasn't discussed.
But can you explain what would make a discussion of the master plan attorney-client privilege?
Payment or contractors, vendors, whoever you're going to hire, like, do we
To
RFP it?
re-examine
Do we-
or
I mean, There's a
examine.
million things, and like I said, I don't set the agenda, so if people have things they want to discuss or potentially discuss, It's once we go in, if it's a topic that's not,
Okay, that's fine.
okay.
With regards to the connector road from Strikers to 22, was there a traffic impact study done to determine if this is actually a viable solution?
This is just on talking stages now, this isn't even.
This is just, I think this is just to apply for grant money to be able to do a study to do that.
But why would you, so
To see
you're
if it-
applying
to
for
see if-
the study to pay
Right, for
the-
money so that you can fund
Okay.
that. Paul, is that accurate?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Design monies, it's not construction monies.
Okay. And then what are the designated truck routes for the warehouses on Strikers Road? Both the incoming and outcoming that would cause for this connector road? So you're seeking a connector road, but you don't know why you would want the
Well,
road?
no, I think the whole point is, if you've been at the prior meetings, was that there's a lot of traffic, obviously truck traffic on Strikers Road. So if you could have a road that went directly from Strikers to 22 to get it off of those and other local roads, that might be a good thing. So it's worth exploring, and it's certainly worth applying for grant money to find out if that does solve it. It's not ever going to solve the problem, but help the problem.
But we don't even know what the designated routes are for those warehouses?
Well, I think it's that they coming in out of Strikers Road.
The trucks can enter that section of Strikers Road either from Route 57 or from County Route 519. Most enter and exit through 519.
Okay. And so there was no public hearing or public discussion for this connector road?
Well,
It just is suddenly now?
There's no connector road. What happens is somebody
Well,
came up with an
I know-
idea.
I understand
Well,
there
listen,
is
listen,
none.
let me answer your question instead
I
of
don't
just
think you
making statements.
understand my.
No, I think I do understand
Mhm.
exactly what you're trying to say,
Okay.
and I don't appreciate it. So if somebody comes up with an idea that says this may help the traffic on that road, and you want to explore that, well, then you got to get grant money because it beats the taxpayers
I
of local.
understand that.
Okay,
I'm
then what's the
asking
question?
when, if you let me speak, I can ask
You
it.
keep talking
I
over
am
me, so
ask-
it's difficult.
I am asking when that discussion occurred. Was it in an
Oh, I don't-
open public meeting, or was it,
It was discussed here a number of times
oh,
during public meetings that you were not at.
okay. And where is Godfrey Way? Like, you don't know? It's on the agenda.
There's
Yeah,
a
I don't know.
private road that leads into the asphalt plant.
Seems like there's a lot of unknowns.
Anyone else? Questions, comments, agenda items only?
I'm just looking for a set of minutes.
You need an agenda?
Yeah, that's what
All right. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move into old business. Number one is ordinance number 23-10, second reading and public hearing of bond ordinance to provide an appropriation of $400,000 for preliminary studies for the development of Lopatcong Park, in and by and authorizing the issuance of $380,000 in bonds or notes for financing part of the appropriation. Need a motion to open up to the public?
Motion.
All in favor? Folks, questions, comments on number one? Hearing and seeing none, motion to close?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion act.
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Mengucci?
Yes. Number two, 2023 budget hearing and adoption.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're here just for that reason, the budget hearing and the adoption. We have permission from the state of New Jersey to go ahead and do both tonight. You were a state examination year. They had minimal points that your CFO addressed very nicely. Even got into a little bit of a dust-up with the guy from the state, so I was happy to see that. Anytime we can, win a point here and there, so
She's
I was
feisty.
very happy with that. So did a very nice job with the budget this year. Your budget as it stands right now to be adopted represents a 2-cent increase to the local tax rate. What that means is on a house assessed at $231,000, that's an average assessed home here, it's an increase of $46 a year or $3.83 a month. What's driving that are some uncontrollable costs. You have almost a full 2 cents in your pension, in your PFRS pension, and your health benefits alone this year. So there was a 100,000 increase in one, 70,000 increase in the other, and note interest, as you know, interest rates are going up, and that's been another driver of the increases. So your 2 cents are covering those uncontrollable costs. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, or if you want.
Yep. I want to list the total general appropriations for 2023 budget. $11,190,070.51, with anticipated revenues of $5,274,484.14, which leaves you with amount to be raised of $5,915,586.37.
Anybody up here got any questions, comments? Great. All right. Guess we need to act on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right, we need to, need a motion to open up to the public?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Folks? John?
Hold on, John. Okay.
John Betts from Brakely Gardens on Red School Lane, 225 Red School Lane. Does any of this budget include funds that will be going for studies on the development of the Lopatcong Park? And in and by the park situation? I'm kind of butchering the question.
You want to answer?
Does any of the budget include? Okay.
There is money in the budget if the project moves forward for
Yes.
down payment on an ordinance, on the ordinance. That's
Okay.
the only money that's in the budget specifically
And then-
related to the park.
Okay, and then I know you spoke about something about 15 million and 5 million at one of the meetings, something about 15 million bond.
Yes, 15 million is the total amount of the project, the park
Okay.
improvement project.
Okay. And then there was going to be 5 or 6 million that was going to be the 15 million was going to be offset by $5 or $6 million or something like that. Was that stated or no?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Unless you're getting confused with the money she just said.
No, I'm not.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, anything else?
Yes. All right. All right, thank you.
Thanks. Folks, anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good to see you guys. It's been a while.
Yes, it
I
has.
apologize because my life has been too busy for me to get here, but I made some adjustments. I just have 2 items I want to discuss. One is, again, I haven't been here in a while.
Your name?
Richard Merker, 1400 Belvedere Road. I'm really concerned about the truck traffic. I know it's been a topic for a long time. It's not getting any better.
This is strictly for the budget.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
there will be public comment later. You're more than welcome to come back up. All right?
Can I get a raise?
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
No problem. Anyone else? Questions, comments on the budget only? Seeing none, need a motion to close?
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion act.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcaro?
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Minicucci?
Yes. Under new business, number 1 is a resolution authorizing you to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey DOT for the Industrial Connector Road from US 22 to Strikers Road. Comments? None? Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Belcaro?
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Minicucci?
Yes, ordinance number 23-12 is first reading of the bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $560,000 for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Lopatcong in the County of Warren, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of 531,500 bonds or notes of the Township of Lopatcong for financing part of the appropriation. Gentlemen, any comments? Any motion?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Menducci?
Yes. Ordinance number 23-13 is the first reading of bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $1,025 for various road improvements and authorizing the issuance of $713,102 in bonds or notes for financing part of the appropriation. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Menducci?
Yes. Number 4 is ordinance number 23-14. It's the first reading to amend the rent control ordinance to add mold as a health, safety, and welfare condition and to require landlords to provide hard copies of leases to tenants. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Menducci?
Yes. The consent agenda. Anybody want anything pulled out of there? Hearing and seeing no one? It's, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Need a motion?
Motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Council President Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Menducci?
Yes. We do have one announcement tonight. There's a special council meeting on May 17th. There'll be a 6:30 PM executive session. 7 o'clock will be the regular session, and the discussion will be the Lopat Park Master Plan. Mr. McQuaid? Council
I
report?
have no reports.
Mr. Vocaro?
No reports.
All right. Jim?
Thank you. April 22nd was the town cleanup. It went very well. I want to extend a special thanks to Robin George for organizing the event. And in connection with that, I would like to put up no littering signs on Strikers Road. It's a possible deterrent. Issue a fine, possibly. And that's all for now, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Wright?
Let's see. I know we had the okay from the county, correct, for the signs that we could put on?
I haven't heard back from the county yet, with the ordinance.
Yeah, we
that
sent our ordinance up to them, correct?
Yeah,
So I thought we were able to get the signs, or we,
well, I think that they would have been ordered the placards.
right,
Yes,
so we could start enforcing trucks better on Bellevue Road and our side streets.
yes, as soon as we get those put into the ground, the police can act on it.
Okay, great. I know properties out on 22, Starlight, I guess they put signs up now for no parking, no truck parking in their parking lot, the old Bell now. We're gonna make a visit out to Cooper's again. They got rid of a lot of trucks, but there's still a lot of cars and trucks there, so.
And the 90 days is up.
And their 90 days is up, so we're gonna hit them again. That's about all I have, I think.
All right, the only thing I have tonight is something pleasant. We don't often get a whole lot of that, but that's just the nature of the business. This letter was addressed to myself and the council. For the past 14 to 15 years, I've had the privilege of storing my boat inside the utility building located in Lopatcong Park. I have appreciated this service very much, and I want to say that I have also always greatly appreciated the cooperation and assistance that your employees have afforded me. Brian Weeks, while always being very cordial and professional, is always very cooperative and is always willing to assist me as needed. He appears to be an outstanding township employee and leader. Recently, I was met at the facility by Joe, can't remember his last name, I'm going to assume that's Joe DeMasi. I remember Joe, I had Joe as a student at the Alpha Public School when I was employed as a business administrator. He is just as polite and pleasant now as he was then. Again, thanks. Thank you for inside annual storage opportunity. Keeping the boat trailer out of the winter elements goes a long way in maintaining the appearance and function. It was signed by a gentleman by the name of Bob Kunklin. So Joe and Brian are both here. Kudos to you two guys for putting your best foot forward. I really don't have anything else, but I do see some Boy Scouts here tonight. Are they here as punishment or?
No, sir, they are actually here for several reasons. This is just good community service. One of our jobs as scout leaders is to build better citizens. Part of their rank requirements do require that they be here. There's also a merit badge called communications, which part of 8, I believe it used to be. I can't remember which number it is. But they have an obligation to see 2 different sides of an argument and write a report based on that. So thank you very much.
Very good. Gentlemen, thanks for coming out. I was only joking. It's not punishment. I wish more young people would get involved because they're our future. So kudos to you guys for coming out, taking the time. I appreciate your efforts. I know I've been to a couple of dinners and award ceremonies that have been quite, enlightening. I was never a Boy Scout, so I really didn't know anything until I became mayor and got the opportunity to, in some of the projects that they've done up there, the bat houses, the batting cage and whatnot. So my thanks to you guys for getting involved, and thanks for coming. Paul?
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to advise the council that your previous action in awarding a contract for Baltimore Street was approved by the Department of Transportation today. So we'll be able to get the contracts out to Riverview Paving and start moving forward toward a construction of that project. I think we'll probably wait till after Memorial Day, probably looking at the month of June, but that should be a pretty quick project. And I think if we start after Memorial Day, we should be able to get that completed before July 4th, in my opinion.
Very good.
We opened bids today for the sidewalk project on Upper Belvedere Road. That's between the flashing signal and Wildew Avenue, which leads into the pool. And we'll be evaluating those bids and reporting back to council on any recommendations of award a contract. And then lastly, the budget introduction tonight will provide monies in the near future to allow the Bellevue Road project, the second phase, to move forward into the design phase. We have the surveying already done, so it's a matter of just getting it designed, and that will probably be a very early project in 2024, just like we did with the first phase last year in 2022. We hit it in the first quarter of the year.
Mentioning that property, one thing we did not report on tonight, Beth, you had said, Andrew, they're going to go to court.
On the Zona property is scheduled for the 16th.
Okay.
Good.
All right, so hopefully we can get that squared away before we pave that road. It will make much sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, 16th of May, you said that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Chief's not here tonight. Okay. Need a motion to approve department reports?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Payment of bills, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman McQuaid.
Yes.
Councilman Toledo.
Yes.
Council President Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Mendici.
Yes. Folks, questions, comments? Bruce?
Hang on now.
Go ahead, sir.
Bob Bruce, Harwich Road. The chief isn't here tonight, so there was no verbal report. Did you get a written report?
We get a written report from him.
Okay, can you refer to that written report and tell me whether my request, based on the experience that I had by attending Greenwich Council, whether that request specifically delves into the number of truck stops that have been made and the number of violations that have been issued as a result of those stops, not just the number, but also the ratio, the increase?
We have no report.
You don't have that?
No, we do not.
Okay. How do we, I
Which is
mean,
highly unusual
again, I was
for him.
yes, it is highly unusual. I expected him to be here tonight.
Well, normally he has both. He's here and we get a written report, so.
Okay, but again, referring back
Want to
to,
email him? I can give you his email.
I'd like to be able to know that my request last month at the meeting was acknowledged as something that we want to see this township do. You know, Greenwich is doing it, and I think it's an excellent model. Beyond that, I guess this is my 5 minutes, and I really am just, don't know under what time you're going to address my initial comment about the industrial road project and the fact that obviously you have a concept in mind. You had meetings with the county, you had a concept of what is it, and that's basic. I'm still waiting to hear some sort of.
It would be it would be a road from Strikers Road to 22. That's all I can tell you at this point.
Okay, and that
Where
was,
exactly where it would come out or whatnot, I have no idea at this point.
okay, and that road now is going to be cutting through how many properties?
I couldn't even tell you that either at this point.
So,
So this grant money was basically for a study to be done.
okay, but again, I'm not referencing so much that resolution tonight to make a grant. I'm more referencing the appearance of that resolution with reference back to the fact that you guys touted the fact that you were looking at this prize, specifically, Mr. Wright. You had said that you had meetings with the county, and I'm not sure if State Senator.
It's just an idea. We're trying to get an idea going, get DOT in here, get them looking, get some ideas to try to get rid of some of this traffic on
Okay,
57 or that. That's all it is right now, to be honest with you.
Okay, and not knowing the number of properties is what you're saying, and.
Mayor, maybe I can answer
Go ahead.
Mr. Bruce's question. What we're looking at is to run a road between Strikers Road and Route 22 opposite the Rand Boulevard signalized intersection, which recently was created to the Ingersoll Rand warehouse redevelopment. The road conceptually would follow the asphalt plant road and then curve to the north and west, and eventually curve again back to the west to line up with Rand Boulevard. Road, I think, is conceptually is about 3,600 feet long. There are probably about 6 properties that the municipality would have to get right of way from if this were to move forward. That's an approximation. I just want to clarify that. Once, if we're successful in getting these monies to do a study and do some engineering work, they'll be able to pinpoint that better. But that's the concept plan, is to utilize the asphalt plant road almost to the cul-de-sac and then basically curve off of that a couple times and line up with Rand Boulevard.
And is that to alleviate Strikers Road truck traffic?
Yes, the intent would be to provide a direct route for trucks that are operating that area to get to Route 22, because right now, to get to Route 22, they have to first go to the Strikers Road, Route 519 intersection, and then travel on Route 519 and make their way through the intersection of Route 22. So this would cut down the number of intersections. It would be much more direct in nature.
Oh, it would be inbound and outbound then, sir?
Correct. It would be a two-way road. Also, what would be good about this is that it would avoid the Route 22 County Route 519 intersection, which, if you're not aware, is the intersection that had the second highest number of crashes in 2021 in the county, and that's documented in the county engineering department, I should say, annual crash report for the county.
Okay, just because he had spent some time answering, I just have one follow-up question on this road and the number of approximately 6 properties. Mr. Wright, you had a statement that you were proud, I believe this was with the county and with State Senator Steinhardt, of the actions that this board has taken to minimize warehouses. So I can assume that there's no plan present, or you would be opposed should any of the properties adjacent to that new road try to be developed into something that supports truck traffic. I understand, I applaud. If you're able to alleviate Strikers Road traffic, I'm not sure I like the idea of what's going to happen with the Christmas tree farm. We'll come to that bridge when we cross it, when you guys find out whether you can do this or what's involved. But I just don't want to see more stuff coming in there, since you're on record as saying that. Thank you.
Anyone else? Tom?
Just 2 things. Can you tell us who the fireworks was awarded to? What vendor? Because you don't have to put it out for bid, that's why it's
We
the
haven't awarded
US.
Committee, council has awarded.
Okay, because it says award of,
What was the discussion
It
of
was
how
just a
you
dis-
do that? Like,
it was just a discussion. Okay, it just, because it looks like you
In the past,
did
they've
it.
gotten all, all
No, we can't
volunteers.
award an executive.
I know that, but the wording looks like you've awarded it. I know. I know you can't do it in executive, but, okay, so you don't have, I know when Mr. Pyro was here, he said there was no money in the budget for fireworks. So how do we have, are you taking money from the budget? How are we paying and how much approximately would it be?
There's $10,000 in the budget towards the fireworks.
There's-
Whether that covers all of them or not. And then the thought is the township's going to try to obtain donations as they've done in the past. And if they can, at least the money's there. If they do collect the $10,000, then that would, at the end of the year, I guess, go back into into surplus or general or whatever.
Okay, so there wasn't,
There was
When-
10,000 put in the budget this year.
This year.
That hadn't been in years past.
okay, for this coming, okay. And just a comment, I know you're telling me what you're telling me about Meadowview Drive. It makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up because why, when we have so many other paper streets in this town, why that one? Why is that one being addressed?
The only thing I can tell you is, because, I do this in a lot of towns, is when somebody requests, paper streets are there so for future development. So if it looks like that street's never going to be used and somebody asks to do it, it's actually better to vacate it. And like I said, if this is the general case, which is normally the property line goes to the center of that, if it's not going to be accessed, it makes sense to vacate it. So.
Yeah, it just seems to be kind of a coincidence and for somebody to actually ask for that particular road to be.
Well, I'm going to guess it was one of the property owners on either side, so either 30 or 32, because those would be the only ones that would care about that, because it goes on there. So,
Yeah, I asked them, neither one did.
oh, that's interesting.
That's a lie.
Okay, I did ask them.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You lied.
No, I didn't.
You did not
You
ask.
want me to show you the email that I got? Okay, I'll show you. I didn't lie.
A constituent approached me about that, and the owner is at 30.
I'll show you my phone. Let's see. One of them was packing, the other one said she notified the other neighbor, and they said that they were not notified of this. So both of them said they were not notified of
You didn't
this.
show me anything.
Okay, I'll, want to see my phone? Here.
Who was that?
I'm not gonna name names in a.
Well, I'm telling you who it is. It's at 30. So
Okay.
tell me that person said no.
That person told this person that
Oh,
they're not.
that doesn't
aware.
count. That's hearsay. That has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, this is what
It's
they're
not,
telling me.
you're lying again
I'm
to
not
me.
lying.
Yes, you
Look,
are.
I am not like, wait, first of
That
all.
person did not tell you that.
Yes, they did.
You said that person told someone else.
No.
You just said
The
it.
person at 32 said, I notified the other one and they don't know.
That
either."
doesn't count.
How does that not count?
That doesn't count. How
Does it
how
not
can,
count?
that's hearsay.
Okay,
Bring that person in and say,
I
for them
will.
to say that.
I will. And don't tell me I'm a liar. because
I
this
told
is
you,
what I
you're a
was
liar.
told. No, I'm
All
not.
right,
This is
all
the
right,
first
all right,
time.
let's go.
All right.
Donna,
So I think,
Donna, it's a
I
good
think
thing, Donna.
the-
Nobody could build or take that then if the two owners buy that property. I'm hoping 3 more come forward, there's still 3 other
Listen.
openings in that field.
I understand your concern. I don't think anybody other than one of those 2 property owners would ask. Apparently, the councilman was requested by, well, somebody's not telling, because.
Well, okay, well, then they're not telling me the truth because I'm not lying. They both asked.
But
They both
that's
asked.
the neighbor. Can I
Excuse
just-
me?
Donna, can I just ask one question? So you were told by the one neighbor that the other neighbor said they didn't know anything about it. All right,
Yes.
so I think that's the councilman's point, which is that's. the
But that's
person
not,
that-
I'm not a liar, so don't call me a liar.
You said the
All right.
total opposite.
No, no,
Can I-
because
can I
I'm
just-
trying to make a point, and I have not said anything disrespectful to you. There's no reason for you to do that to me.
Always call us liars.
Really?
You call- All the time.
Yeah, because most of the time it's
Everybody.
true.
Let's,
Well, this
listen,
doesn't
listen.
happen to you.
So
No,
Understood, I understand your concern, but I think the disconnect is that you did say that you talked to them and they said they never asked, and the one that, I guess it was 30, actually asked the councilman, hey, would you guys consider vacating the, now, all this other stuff aside, I will tell you that if I lived in that neighborhood and somebody was gonna vacate a street that was going into a bigger thing that could be developed someday, I'd be very happy about that. And it's gonna go to property owners on either side, one gets half, the other gets half, so.
that's fine, but I don't appreciate you calling me a liar.
You lied.
No, I didn't.
Okay, this is not.
Wait, and I will, no, okay, it isn't, because you started. You started it.
But
But I'm
you
not,
have to
I'm not.
understand that you
you're
said that you
calling-
talked to both of them and they told you, and that's not what
Right.
happened. One
I
of them
asked,
said-
yes,
and
she
the other
said,
one probably
I'm
didn't
gonna
wanna
call, and the
enter
other
a neighbor
one,
that-
well, it doesn't matter. What I'm telling
Yeah,
you
that
is this is
matters
what
a
it
lot.
was told. No,
Matters
it
a lot
doesn't,
what you
because this
said.
is what it was told
What you
to
said in
me.
the recording matters a lot.
Enough, please.
All right.
No, this is what was told to me. I'm not a liar. Don't say that again. This is
It
the
was not
first
told to
words
you
we've
by the
heard from
owner.
you
It was
in the
not told to you.
whole time you've been up
It was
on there.
not told to you.
Yes, it was.
I'm gonna stand by my conviction.
Teresa?
Just a minute, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Sturbins, for that detailed explanation that I tried to seek earlier. But you did mention right-of-way, that the township would have to gain right-of-way. Will that be through eminent domain?
I think it's too early to make that determination.
Okay,
We're gonna
because
do the
how
study,
does it,
we're gonna do the study, figure out how to design this road in a compliant way, one that aligns with DOT and other applicable standards.
Mhm.
Figure out what the property acquisition would be, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so you would have,
We don't know. It's
you'd have to
premature.
acquire, either offer them money or through eminent domain if they refuse.
There's a process to acquire property that we
Right.
have to follow, yes.
Okay, and then I just want to make a general statement. And as a former Scout chair, I am appalled that you, an elected official, would call a constituent and someone who is coming to a public open meeting, I'm appalled that you would call them a liar. And I hope that you guys don't go home and think that this is accurate and that this is appropriate. And again, I am a former Scout chair.
Thank you. John?
These are issues I'd like to address to you, Mr. Polito. Are we having a rent loving board meeting this month? Do you know yet?
There is one scheduled.
There's one
I hope we do have one.
Okay. Now, some of the issues that we'll have to be talking about are the people are getting their leases are being scheduled by the landlord to start earlier than the length of a year. Some people are being approached with leases that start earlier than the length of a year. Can that be done?
I'll have to talk to council.
Okay. And the other thing is we're still dealing with the change in fees pertaining to water and sewage, possibly. There are things going around speaking about water and sewage for some people being changed, for the new tenants that come in being changed. There are conversations about heat being charged for heat and things of that nature. It's another rent loving board thing that we should talk about. And then if you would please, Paul, would you like to speak about it? I would like to introduce, this is Paul, he's a new tenant in our complex.
Before Paul gets started, John, currently you're not paying for sewer, water, or heat?
No.
Okay.
And John, they can't try to get around the rent levy, the limits on the rent levy board by then trying to take your sewer and water out and charge you more, because they're limited by that percentage. So
Yes,
I know that we've been down this road before with,
Yes.
maybe not this management company, but others, but they cannot do that.
I know, you've told me that
So-
before, but they're telling.
I understand, but I'm just telling you that
And the tenants don't realize this, and they're telling them that, well, once they sign the lease, what do you call it? They're binded by the lease. Is that true? I have to ask you.
No, because there's an
There goes
ordinance
the
that
ordinance.
limits how much you can
Right.
increase. So I know the game, they're gonna try to
Right.
take the sewer and water out
Right.
and then get around and charge you
Okay.
more rent than they normally would be allowed to. So
Right.
that's illegal and they're not gonna be able to do it. Now, that's not gonna say they're not gonna try to do it because we've seen this before, but
Yes.
they can't get away with that.
Now,
Ultimately, they
if
will not get away
if
with it.
they're doing, you as an attorney of the town, somebody on your team oversees that rent levying board as data and information, and they can't do it, so that if somebody comes to me or I hear of something, I can I can tell them that
Rent leveling
that's the
board,
case. All right. Now, this is Paul. He's just moved into our complex today.
Go ahead, Paul.
Hey,
Hi,
Paul.
how are you doing, gentlemen?
Good, how are you?
I don't know much about the town, but I like the town, and
What's your last name?
my name is Span, Paul Span. I'm at the Berkeley Gardens. I was a homeowner in New York City, and I know what a water meter looks like, and I know what a kilowatt meter looks like. I looked all over my apartment for a water meter and a kilowatt meter, which I know I have to pay my own, electricity, but I'm told that I have to pay water and sewage, and this is an apartment complex. I don't understand that, and I don't even have a lease. I've been here a month and a half. Like I said, I like the town, and I lived on waterfront property in Rockaway, New York. Sandy really hit us bad, and I decided to go, "Boop," that was it, no more. And I just find I'm getting a lot of fees that I don't even know about that's popping up on when I go to pay my rent and stuff, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. And I just would like to know. And my friend here filled me in. He basically said everything that's going on with me right now, and I just don't understand what's going on. The heating system is terrible. Since I've been there, I've been sleeping in the bed with blankets, and what have you. I mean, I left New York by the beach to be someplace a little more secluded and quiet, because by the beach you don't get no rest, because everybody's always hanging out. And I was born and raised there. I'm 64 now. I'll be 64. So I'm tired of that type of zone. So I said, well, somebody said, why don't you go out to Fieldsboro? It's far enough. It's far away. So I drove out to Fieldsboro and said, hey, this is good. But the place over there is really in a shamble. I just don't understand what's going on over there. I really don't. I really don't. It's not a money problem with me, because I retired from the division in NYPD, but I just don't understand what's going on.
Okay, if you do have a complaint, we can address this at the rent leveling board meeting this month if you're available. If
Sure.
not, you can send me an email with your complaint. You do need to make a formal complaint, and we can submit that to the landlord.
Okay, thank you.
And John, I'm sure, has a copy of the
Yes,
rent
I do.
leveling, the ordinance. So it was 15 years ago now, we were in federal court with a different management company. We were in state court. They tried to strike down our rent leveling ordinance. We
Wow.
prevailed on that. But we used to see back then that unfortunately the rent leveling board meetings would be packed with people who were being attempted to be taken advantage of by the management company. So I'm hoping that it's not going down that path again, but just familiarize yourself with the ordinance. There's only certain percentages they can raise each year, things. So there's restrictions in there that, I think there may be some attempt to get around, but the rent leveling board won't allow that to
And
happen.
right now, it's 3%.
And that's what I'm kind of baffled by.
And they try all sorts, like I said, they try to take the sort of water out, then they're gonna bill that separately, and then raise your rent and say, well, your rent was only 3%, but we took these out. They can't do that.
Okay,
Or they could try to do it, but they're not gonna get away with it.
okay, that's good to know.
And
Thank you.
There is some recourse if they don't comply with the complaints.
Okay,
now
thank you.
I also have paper copies of those complaint papers,
Okay.
and then there's also, he could email you.
The rent control ordinance isn't something new. I believe it's been in place since either 82 or 83.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Right.
And I'm just making sure it's gonna be protected, and Mr. Michael Avery says, yes, sir.
Okay, I'll get to know everybody's names, but this is my first meeting.
All right, well, thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul.
Anyone else, questions, comments?
Now my turn?
No, now's your turn.
All right. Welcome back. Okay. Richard Merker, 1400 Belvedere Road. Okay, like I said, I haven't been here in a couple months. I apologize. You know how it is. Life gets the better of you. The truck issue, I see you're trying to get some solution, a road from Strikers Road to 22. That might alleviate some of it. These guys coming down Belvedere Road, right? You're going to get signs for littering,
those no brake retarder signs that I see all over the place, I live right there. They come down Belvedere Road, 50 miles an hour, and then all I hear is blah, 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 blah. You live on Belvedere. I don't think they're hitting it by you because they're probably not going that fast. But coming down, right? So on my way home today, there's a truck coming off Belvedere Road, taking up all 3 lanes on Red School, and then a Lopat cop right behind him driving by. Now, I'm not saying he didn't pull him over previously. I don't know. But I think you were asking for a report on how many tickets are being issued, where they're being issued. Because my kids cheer when we see a Lopat cop having a truck pulled over. It's ridiculous. We have to get a handle on this. And I told you before, someone's going to end up dead. Kids running down Belvedere Road, those trucks are coming barreling down that road. So we need to do something about it. That's number 1. Number 2, the sidewalk project, I saw on the website, it's getting ready to kick off. I have a lot of questions about it. You came out to give me the layout, but, right, the more I look at those prints, the more questions I have. So who do I talk to about that project, how it's going to be, when it's going to be executed, how it's going to be executed? Was there anything signed with the previous owner of my property about the proposed right-of-way and everything that's going to happen? When I look at it, the sidewalk is going to come right up against the hill that I have, that I mow. Now they're going to put a sidewalk in there. How am I going to mow it? So there's a lot of questions. I know it's going to happen, according to what this says, but I have a lot of questions. So who do I talk to, right? Was there an agreement signed with the previous owner?
The project I talked about earlier in the meeting is the sidewalk project on the north side of.
Right, on the other side, I get that.
Right. The
But
project on the south side has been designed, we've given plans to the Department of Transportation, gave them to the Department of Transportation in 2020. They haven't done anything with those plans. We haven't gotten any review comments at all from them.
So that's not
Right
happening.
right now, the project is at a standstill. I have talked to the DOT about it. DOT wanted to get the north side squared away and finally processed and into construction. So that's been their focus, and we're almost there. And then they're going to start concentrating on the south side between Charles Road and your location at the intersection of Red School Lane. And once that happens, there's going to be lots of discussions because of the fact that we don't have enough right-of-way to build a sidewalk. We're going to need right-of-way from various property owners, including yourself, in order to build a sidewalk.
Okay.
We don't get that right-of-way, we're not going to build a sidewalk between those two
Okay,
locations.
so we haven't gotten that far yet.
So, we haven't gotten that.
All right, very good. So I guess I'll be contacted when we do get that far.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Outstanding.
I think once we get some feedback from the, back from the DOT, we'll probably be setting up a public information forum for the project. And invite all the property owners between those two roadway intersections in to look at the plans and get their feedback.
So it's not going to happen this year.
Excuse me?
It's not going to happen this year. Because
No.
originally it was 23. So I'm just wondering, because I'm going to put my fence in eventually, right? And then, I don't want to.
But I recommended to you to push it back, right, when we met.
Yeah, no, well, I just want to make sure I'm putting it in, but when I look at the plans, more concerned is that hill, right? So, you're going to put if that sidewalk's going to come right up against that hill, right? I got 2 options. Either I'm going to have to weed whack it every single time. Can I put a fence in there? How am I going to mow? So, all right, so when it comes time.
To talk about
we'll
it, I'll
talk.
explain to you how we're going to do it and grade into your property and restore your property.
Very good. All right, thank you.
Thank you. John?
I'm just getting over a cold, so I had to pop a quick cough drop. I'll wait till that sets up here, no problem. John Ketcherson, 38 Jade Lane. I would like to second his observations about the trucks on Belvedere. I don't live on Belvedere. My back road, from my backyard, I can see Belvedere, and it's every day, all day. Trucks are going up and down that road. It's ridiculous. I read about the meeting that Bill Wright and Doug Steinhardt had with the NJDOT to discuss what could be done about the impact trucks from area warehouses are having on our roads.
Bill stated that he's concerned about that the local roads aren't big enough for the volume of trucks, and that the Lopatcong Council has taken strong steps to curb overdevelopment and have all but eliminated the influx of warehouses. And I have some questions regarding that. Specifically, what are the strong steps that the council took to all but eliminate warehouse development? No strong steps?
John, we stopped any more warehouses coming in on Strikers Road,
In the ROM district.
on the ROM district.
But then we proposed two on the Puberg Mall and the farmland behind it after we took
That
it out
is
of
something
our.
totally different, and that's because POHAT is doing it, and that's the whole reason.
They
Totally
say it's
different.
because you're doing it.
What's that?
So they say it's because Lopatcong is doing it. So since
Okay, yeah, I don't think
since
it's-
4 of the 6 mega warehouses that will call Lopatcong home are future warehouses, do the tough steps eliminate them as well? So we recently learned that Bill was on a council subcommittee, and it wasn't really revealed to the public, that worked with the planners to create the redevelopment plans that allow only warehouses to be built on the Puberg Mall property and the field behind it. So how does that align with eliminating the influx of warehouses?
John, I told you before, POHAT was doing it. When we did a redevelopment, we looked at the whole area, they were putting it in. We didn't go looking for them as you put everywhere else. So I went and looked for warehouse people. That is not true,
Well,
okay? And we had no meetings about anything. Joe, or Jim and I were on the committee. We didn't even have time.
you were on a
Later-
Jim was on a subcommittee?
Jim Polito and I were on the subcommittee. We never even had a
Oh,
meeting,
okay.
okay? And that's the way it is. It's that
Okay,
fast
so
to
that's,
happen.
so
POHAT
that's
decided
in
to act.
direct
so we needed to.
contradiction to what the planners told us. They told us that there was this subcommittee that was formed, and the subcommittee worked with the planners to develop the redevelopment plans, which are warehouses.
Our planner, yes, he
And-
wrote it up. We didn't. Correct.
You never met?
We had nothing. We got the paperwork the day of the meeting. We voted in that night of the meeting, I believe. Was that correct, Doug? We had no meetings, yes. So
No,
all these
that's-
little stories about how we
No,
met
it's
and
not
all
little
this stuff.
stories. It's what we were told.
You
by
called
the
me a
planners.
liar the last time you
I
got
didn't call you
spoke
a liar.
about this, okay?
This is what the planners told us
We
when
did.
asked.
We met with the planner. We told the planner
You just-
what we wanted to do.
All right, let me
And that's
proceed
it.
because you're wasting my time.
Go ahead.
You asked questions. You
So
don't
the
want answers?
Lopatcong Council minutes note concern about these are the Lopatcong Council minutes, about the secretive nature by which Lopatcong planned warehouses for the mall and farmland behind it. In February, they expressed concerns of potential delays of Highland Center approval due to the contentious nature of developing a warehouse on the farmland, because it could delay their center that they need for affordable housing. Their attorney said he spoke with Mike Lavery, who stated that he told the Highlands Council that Lopatcong would pull out of the Highlands if given too hard a time about getting center approval so we can build our warehouses. So how do threats to pull out of the Highlands, if given a hard time about building a warehouse, align with these tough steps that you were talking about?
I don't think you could pull out of the highway, can you?
This
Well,
is,
you could.
this,
Could you?
yeah, of course you can. But this is what the Lopatcong minutes have noted, that Lopatcong is willing to pull out of the Highlands if we're not allowed to build a warehouse.
Who said that? POHAT did?
It's in the Pohat Council minutes.
Yeah, we don't know who said that. It was just in the minutes.
I have no idea. I haven't been to a POHAT meeting. I don't know
So
anything about it.
I recently opened information regarding this subcommittee, and I didn't get any, well, I got a letter back, an email back from Mike Lavery stating there's no records of the subcommittee. So when was this subcommittee formed?
At a meeting here, and we talked
At
about.
a public meeting?
Yes.
How long ago? Because I've been coming to these meetings for well over a year.
Back in 2020
I
or
have no idea.
19?
Long time ago.
But when I asked about these things, you didn't volunteer any information. You didn't say
Nothing's
there was
done.
a subcommittee.
You accuse every time you stand up there. So what am I gonna do? Sit here and argue with
Accused
you?
because you guys
Because you
never
guys lie.
tell the truth.
Oh, so we're liars. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Anyone else? Brian?
John?
when you get it, I can start, you'll see what it's for. It's for the new generator service. I didn't get time to put it through the whole other thing. So you can read what it is, why I chose what I chose. P3 Services and Municipal Building 1 here, they put that in. They have all the parts, they have everything, and that's very valuable today. All right, because getting parts is a nightmare. We used to use Engines Inc. Engines Inc. is changing, or I don't want to say closing. I don't know if it's going that far yet, but they're not the same service rank. So Henry's Generating Services is right over here in Easton. I hear they're very good. I don't know. We brought them out, interviewed, took them around to the generators, all but this one down here. And he said, yes, I have the parts for them. I have everything. But I would like to keep both of them, one for P3 for here, Henry's Generator Service for out there, and feel them both out. P3, if you read what it said, you'll understand why I'm keeping where I'm at, all right, per the letter. All right, so I'm asking for that to be able to go under contract for 1 year. And then it said at the middle there where all the writing it says they are a 1-year contract. They will be reevaluated. I don't know, I put 2. All right, for the next year. All right, next time we have a year here. All right, so I'm just asking for permission to go ahead and put that under a contract.
The P3's not willing to do the other ones?
Trying not to go bad here. I wasn't happy with them.
Okay, so then why do you want to
I didn't think they understood it, but they install these. They do very well with these.
Okay.
I took them around to the other ones a couple years ago, and they couldn't handle it at that time. Now, I don't know if they can now, but I don't want to find out the hard way here. All right, so for 1 year, I think we balance it out and see who does the best and go that route. So.
The DPW truck unit, what exactly is that? The DPW truck unit, what exactly?
We took over the old crash truck for the squad, and it has a generator in it where they used to run their extrication equipment and stuff.
Okay.
And that gets serviced. It needs service right now. Actually, the water pump just went a couple days ago. So that's part of the service of it.
And what would we use that for?
Everything is under, anything we use power for out here. If we need power for lights in the middle of the night, we need to run power tools to put signs up. We use it for which we're gonna this year.
How old is this unit? Truck unit?
87? Somewhere in that range. All right, but no, the unit, I don't know how old that unit is, but it's in good shape because it don't get run all the time.
Okay.
All right, the truck's in 87 that it's in. All
Well,
right.
I actually meant the generator.
I know you
itself.
did, that's why I
Okay.
regrouped that.
All right.
I just said it, I knew where I was at. But it's definitely worth fixing, it's not, unless you feel you want to put a new one in it. I would wait and put a new one in if we get a new truck. All right, that's when I would do that.
Tell me no problem.
Okay, all right, and then we'll regroup. One more thing. This is something that maybe the public's happy with. The GVWR signs came in the other day.
Mhm.
Okay, we are putting them in the town. It's gonna take me about a week to, and I gotta drill holes in them and stuff, because they came with no holes, they rushed them, all right? So I gotta figure out a hole pattern and do all that, but
Belvedere Road?
they will not hit Belvedere Road because that's a county road until you guys in the county get to figure out where you're gonna go with it all there.
We've sent our resolution up to the county, we're waiting for approval from them.
Right, all right, so, but they will be going in our township, okay? And they'll be going underneath the 4-ton limit, all right? And you'll see it's a sign, 6 by 24 or something like that, I believe it is. All right?
Very good, thank you, sir. Directions, right?
Yes, any sign that says 4-ton limit, it will be going on.
Okay.
So, all right.
Thank you. Thanks. Anyone else, questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, I'm Vicki Wyatt, 848 Uniontown Road. I just want some clarification. I heard 516 Zone Industrial Park is going to be in court, is that correct? Did I miss that part of the meeting, or?
It's on property. You heard it's on property, yes, that will
Yes.
be in court, yes.
Is that open to the
On-
public,
on
or
the-
is it just him and a judge, or?
The court is visual or virtual. You can certainly call the administrator and ask for, the codes to get into that meeting.
Here,
Yeah,
call
you
here?
would call our court administrator.
Okay.
That's the 16th, I believe you said?
I
Yeah.
believe that's, I have these minutes.
So again, he's in an ROM area, but he clearly has signs posted that Roman Truck Yard is right there. Is there anyone I can send any of this evidence to, or nobody gives a darn, or somebody's done all
I
this
think
work
I told
already?
you last
Yeah, they're
time, we
aware.
ordered 6 summonses to him already.
I understand.
And the guy was out there, took pictures of everything out there.
Okay,
But get on the call and just,
okay, that's what I want to hear.
yeah.
Okay,
You can send it to the zoning officer if you'd like.
here? Okay. And then, we discussed a survey, or a weight, well, you discussed tonight the survey of Bellevue Road. You're just gonna widen it so that people don't get killed trying to ride their bicycle
We're not
down?
gonna
and
widen it.
School buses going up?
Which can be maintained.
It's gonna get resurfaced, in other
It's
words?
gonna get resurfaced.
Okay, and what
We're
about the
proposing
bridge?
widening.
I know myself and another lady asked, is there a weight limit on that bridge? I mean, that bridge is falling apart, literally.
There are no weight restrictions according to the county.
Okay, are we gonna leave it that way?
It's a county structure. It's really up to them.
But then the
It's their
county says
structure.
it's not their problem when you call them, it's the town's problem, and then you tell the town, and the town
It's
says
a
it's
county,
not a.
it's a county structure, it's their decision. So that's what, that was the information that came back. There is no load restriction.
So you're gonna go through all the effort to do a survey and resurface the road and so on and so forth, and you're just gonna leave the bridge falling apart?
It's the county's bridge. Let me put it this way.
This is
We-
why everyone
well,
gets aggravated when they come to a meeting like this.
Let me finish here. We're not gonna turn a blind eye to the county and not talk to them and just design our project without getting their input. We are gonna talk to them. We do it on every project. We just talked to them about Baltimore Street. There's a bridge on Baltimore Street. We coordinated with them on that. So there will be discussions and coordination with them about their bridge. But as far as the town going in and proposing a replacement or repair of the bridge, we're not gonna do that. That's not our structure.
Okay, so I guess then what it really comes back to is the trucks that are going over that bridge to go into the zone industrial park should not be on there in the first place, right? Because it's not a truck yard. So you need to clean that up and get rid of them. And not keep telling me this guy's got 6 summons and he's not
It's in
showing
a
up.
judge's hands. He takes over. We can't say a word to him. A judge makes that decision. I mean, it's out of our hands. We did what we did. It goes up the ladder. That's the next rung, is the judge.
Okay. And then, one of the gentlemen mentioned a brake retarder signs. Any idea if we could put those up 519 near the Warren County
There's no
Fairgrounds?
such thing as that ordinance.
I'm sorry?
There's no such thing as a break.
Jake break, they're illegal.
Really, it's not a real thing. They put them up, but.
There are towns that have them, that have signs that say
Right,
that,
Harmony
but they're
has
not-
them up further up
Right,
on
but they're not
519.
enforceable.
So is the retarded brake allowed? It's not,
No, the only way you can really attack it is noise.
yeah, noise before freaking 7 o'clock in the morning there.
No, I'm just saying I'm telling you legally what you're allowed to do. So Hope has no Jake braking, these other towns have no Jake braking. There was another town that I represent that was going to put no Jake braking signs up. I gave them my legal opinion, they did what they were gonna do. And there's a letter from the county that says, you can't do that. And you're not gonna do it and you're not allowed to put them on our roads either, the county roads. So it's, I know that's not what you wanna hear, but it's, once you put those signs up, if they continue to do it and then they realize that you can't enforce the ordinance, it has the opposite effect.
Okay. All right, well then that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Hearing and seeing no one? Motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Folks, thanks for coming out. Gentlemen from Boy Scouts, thank you very much.